Do you struggle in the times when you're stressed in life to actually move away from that stress? So ultimately it just builds and builds and builds and you can't escape that place in your life? Well, if you do, make sure you watch this because I've developed this 6-step process which I found has a massive ability for me to move away from stress quickly and get to a healthier place in my life. And today I'm going to share those 6 steps with you. So let's be honest, a lot of us have stress in our life, and stress can have a massive impact on both our health and our fitness. And if we kind of understand that when we are stressed, the best thing we can do is move away from stress as quickly as possible, we've got to develop tools to do this. And the one way I like to think about stress, at least the internal dialogue in your head, is often when we're feeling stressed, we have repeat thoughts over and over and over again. And the longer we're in the stress and the more those thoughts repeat, the more the emotional build-up happens within us. And often there's a cost that comes with this. How do you deal with that place and how do you manage that space within yourself? And unfortunately for a lot of people, they spend way too much time in stress. And if we can understand I spend way too much time in stress, we're going to develop tools to help us get out of stress quicker so we can be healthier, more rational, and take better approaches to the problems we're working through. And recently I've been working on this within myself, and I thought to myself, I need to develop a step process that can help me become quick at moving away from stress. And I've got to be honest, this process I've developed has been working amazingly well. So let's look at the 6 steps you need to practice to move away from stress more quickly in your life. Number 1, and this is really important, you have to become a legend at catching you are stressed. Because we can't create change unless you understand you are in that place. Now, there's a few ways we can do this. You can understand how I feel stressed traditionally. It might be internal dialogue, it might be tension in the body, it might be disconnecting from your world. But ideally, the better you can understand what happens when I feel stressed, the faster you'll get at catching that you are stressed. Or you can just catch it straight away. Sometimes big events happen that overwhelm us instantly and you want to catch, I'm in this place. Step number 2, now this is a really cool concept. It's called using the commentator's voice to see what's happening in this moment. And the way we want to think about this is I want you to think of a commentator. Think of a sports commentator. What's a sport you like? And what's the commentator's job? Well, the commentator's job is to watch the event and talk to you through what's happening in the event. And this is what we want you to do, or I want you to do in this situation. I learned this from a book called Chatter by Ethan Kross. It's a really great technique. So what you do is you see the situation you're in, you step outside yourself, and then what you do is you commentate what you're going through. So let's say tomorrow I've got to have a really hard conversation with someone about a difficult subject which I'm afraid of doing. I'm feeling really stressed about it. So in this situation, what I would do is I go, Bevan's in a place where he's feeling really stressed because he's got a hard conversation that he has and he likes to please people. And because he likes to please people, he shies away from these conversations. This is an important conversation, so we know he needs to have it, but he's building up this pressure on himself because he's worried about hurting the person and if the person comes back to him in a harsh way. So you can see what I've done there. I've done the commentator's voice on the situation I'm dealing in. Now, when you do the commentator's voice, 2 little quick tips. A, acknowledge that you're stressed, but B, understand what is creating the stress. So in the example I shared that A, I'm a pleaser, B, I'm worried about hurting somebody, and C, what if they come back at me? So that's what you're trying to do, is understand your stress and see the problem you're facing. Step number 3, we're kind of taking a side step here. In step number 3, what you do is you grab a song from your past that you absolutely love and that you have amazing positive memories with. So I think back to when I was younger, I went camping with my friends and there was an album that we all listened to throughout that camp. It was like one album, the whole camp. And when I listen to any of those songs take me back to that time, a really positive time in my life. And the songs have the ability to take me back to that place. And when you choose a song, you want to choose a song that has that attachment, amazing positive memories that you absolutely love and you love the song as well. And when you're listening to the song, take yourself back to that space. Take yourself back to that space where you're really loving the music or loving those memories. Once you've done that, and get involved in the emotion with it as well. So take on the emotion of that as well. Once you've done that, you move into step number 4. So once you finish a song, then you're going to spend about a minute or 2 doing some breathing exercises. And the technique I love to use is one I learned from Andrew Huberman, and it's basically One long breath, one short breath, and then a low and slow breath out. I'll do a quick demonstration. So one long breath, you go. And then you slowly release it out. So long breath, and then a really short breath, and then you slowly release it out as long as you can. It's like you're trying to get that last bit of air right out of your lungs. Now you want to be spending about a minute or two just going through this exercise. That's step number 4. Then step number 5. Now we go back to the thing that you're stressed about, but we're trying to irrationally develop a plan of what you're going to do in these moments to make sure you're successful. So what are we doing here? So I might look back in that situation and go, okay, how will I be successful in dealing with this conversation I need to have tomorrow? Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to develop a plan. So I'm going to write up a bit of a script. I may even write up things that I will do if they object to what I'm telling them. So have a strategy for that in place. I'm going to put a mindset in place. So my mindset might be, I'm a leader, this person needs to be developed, and because I'm a leader, I'm going to hold their hand through the process in a caring and wise way. I might start to think about the things I'll do to put myself in the right state before I have the conversation. So I might plan some breathing exercises. I might plan, how do I get myself in a calm state before I have the conversation? So as you can see in step number 5, I'm looking for a wise, rational plan that will act upon in that moment. And then step number 6 is when you get to the moment, you take those actions. Now, when you think about this process, the whole idea of this process is we're trying to minimize time and stress, but also have an action plan on the other side of it. And when I reflect upon when I've been using this process, it's amazing how quickly I'm getting out of stress and I have a trust in the plan that I'm moving toward. So what do you need to do? Well, ideally your job is to go through this process, and it takes a few times for it to really hit home, but the more you practice it, the more you find your ability to move away from stress and get to a healthier, more rational place will increase in your life. So what are the steps? Again, just to reflect, what are the steps? Step number 1, you need to become a legend at catching. Step number 2, commentator's voice, identifying the real thing you're working through. Step number 3, a song that you have emotions with, that have great memories, and go to those memories when you're doing it or when you're listening to it. Step number 4, the breathing technique. Step number 5, rationally problem solve how you're going to deal with the situation. And then step number 6 is act upon the actions that you identified when you were problem solving. We all feel stress, but ideally we want to get better at dealing with stress so we can stay healthier and more rational in our life. And if we can do this, I guarantee you'll be a healthier version of yourself. So your job is to catch the next time you're stressed, go through this process. Maybe you can let me know how it's had an impact on your life. If you enjoy my pieces and you want to bring exercise into your life, you need to check out my book, I Will Make You Passionate About Exercise. This book is designed to be a step-by-step journey that teaches you the right lessons and experiences to guide bringing exercise into your life, not just for a moment, but where you get to the place where you have a long-term love of exercise. So you get fitter, you get healthier, you have great stress releases, and you feel amazing about yourself. This book has been hugely successful, getting to the top 10 in the world for health and fitness books. So if it's time for you to bring health and fitness into your life, go to Passion About Exercise, click on the link, go through the process, and you can be starting your journey of finding your love for exercise really soon.